Hello and welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
And I am Stacey Earlywine, and we are happy to be with you.
We are.
It's going to be another fun show.
Yeah, we have a very interesting show. A piece of Clay County history I think most people don't really know much about.
Well, I honestly can say that I didn't know anything about it till we started doing it. And it was funny, Beth and I, we kind of started a little bit. I'm like, we have so much history that we've been diving into, and it's like, how did we not know about this man when I was in school? I think that we need to bring back local history classes.
Yeah, there needs to be a class that you can take in high school or junior high about local history.
Yeah, because this we are talking today about a man who's extraordinary, that I had no idea existed.
Lived right here in Flora.
His
name was General Lewis Baldwin Parsons, and he was a general during the Civil War. He was friends with Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, just... Well, I got chills.
Yeah, I kind of got chills too. He was friends with Abraham Lincoln. It's a dramatic statement, but it's true. He is.
Yeah,
and you can go to Springfield, Illinois, to the Lincoln Library, and you can request to see communications between Abraham Lincoln and General Parsons, and you can read all of their communications.
Have we ever done General Parsons on a cemetery tour?
No, he's not buried here.
He's not buried here, but that don't make me.
We could cover him.
Some of mine aren't buried here either.
Yeah, sometimes we cover them, and they stand at the depot and say we're visiting Flora. He would be a good one to do. As far as I know, we have. I'm not over the cemetery tour, so I can't say for sure, but I don't remember hearing that story.
I don't remember hearing it either, so I think it would be a great. I think we should maybe put a bug in somebody's there. But yeah, it's unreal. But yeah, so a piece of history today. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
But we always kick off our show with an old advertisement or something from the past, a blast from the past.
Yes,
so what are we going to talk about today, Stace?
Well, today, it's funny because I've got this Woman's Day magazine that was given to me, we talked about this on an episode. September 1950, it cost 5 cents.
Yes.
And there is literally nothing on the cover.
No words.
Except these super cute puppies. Look
love
at
those puppies.
Look at the little puppies.
Aw,
aren't they the cutest? Are those collies?
They look like they could be collies.
I think they are collies. They are the cutest thing, but 1950 September Woman's Day, 5 cents. And you guys notice not a thing written on the cover.
No enticement to open it.
No enticement at all, except for them flipping cute.
But what more do you need? I mean, you don't need anything but puppies.
You don't need anything but puppies. It's great.
So what kind of ad
am I on? Well, you know what? If you're going to have puppies on the page, well, let me see.
It's a dog food ad?
It's a dog food ad.
Okay, let's see. Here we go.
Well, there it is. Oh, my Lanta. Feed your dog as well as yourself, I'd say.
It looks like they just put some ground round right there in the food bowl.
Well, that looks like something I would fry up and put on the old grill. Yeah, it's like
the second picture is the person's meal, right?
Meal. Yeah, but even the front looks like hamburger. But seriously, have you ever heard of Pard? Pard, Swift's dog food.
Swift's Pard will give your dog as much nourishment as you get in this hearty, nutritious roast beef dinner. That doesn't look like roast beef. That looks like a ribeye.
It looks like a ribeye to me. Yeah, it does.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, feed your dog as well as you feed yourself. Your best friend's best food from the research laboratories of Swift and Company. I've never heard of Swift.
Nope.
Swift's dog food.
Probably went out of business.
But yeah, look at that. And that bowl just looks like hamburger.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I bet the dogs liked it.
I would think so.
Is Swift's own research kennels. Oh, they have their own. Ooh. They have their own research kennels. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
In Swift's own research kennels, 11 generations, 11 generations of happy, healthy dogs have been raised on pard and water alone. For comparison, 11 human generations would go back past 1776. Generation proved since 1932, more dogs in more homes have eaten more pard than any other quality canned dog food. Join the millions who feed their dogs pard. Yeah,
Interesting.
I was flipping through it. Of course, like here's that lady in her cute yellow and her little with her Great Dane.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the Research Laboratories of Swift. I just never heard of PARD.
Yeah, me either. But it doesn't look like today's dog food. It just looks like they put ground round in their dog's bowl.
Yeah, which today would cost you a fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, dog food's getting pricier and pricier.
Yeah, I don't have any dogs, but I believe you because cat food is too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we haven't done any dog food ads. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I'd still say one of my favorite ads that we've done so far is those horrible
the Jell-O molds. The Jell-O molds with beef in them.
The Jell-O
Apparently
molds.
that was a really yummy
and like
thing
I said,
to eat back in the 50s.
Okay, just before we get into General Parsons, you are the funeral dinner lady at the First Christian Church.
Yeah.
So you do. Does anybody bring Jell-O or Jell-O molds?
No one brings Jell-O molds, but we do have someone that brings a dish that has Jell-O in it. It's like a orange fruity salad.
Ooh, but that's good though.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's not like those 1950s pictures of the Jell-O mold with tuna.
You put them down like blah, 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 blah.
No, nobody brings anything like that.
Jell-O mold with tuna.
But I do, I don't nitpick what they bring, but I do ask them in advance most of the time, like unless I already trust them to bring something good. But it's like, what are you planning on bringing? I don't know. If someone said they were bringing a tuna mold, I might say, could you do mashed potatoes instead? I don't know if I want
all
tuna
that
mold.
stuff was cold. I mean, it has to be.
It's so weird.
So I don't molds and tuna molds and just not cool. Not cool at all.
No, kind of.
I'm not a fan of all that.
Me either.
But
not
anyway,
a fan.
I just wondered if anybody ever bought. There was this one Jell-O dessert whenever we would go on Walk to Emmaus's, and it was rainbow. So like it took forever to do because like it'd be like you do your one thin layer of Jell-O and it would be purple grape.
Oh.
And then on top of that was like a cream cheese purpley thing.
You had to wait for each layer to set up.
Each layer to set up. And they did it with like that. They did like blueberry and purple and orange and lime, and it stacked up. But it was beautiful when it was in glass. It was just these colors, and in between each layer was like I think it was kind of like sour cream and Jell-O type mix that kind of set up. I don't know. I'm not a cook, but it's beautiful. But whenever they wanted that. Because, and they served it almost at every Emmaus gathering.
I'm okay with Jell-O if it's a dessert. I am. Like, there's also this strawberry pie. A lot of people put strawberry Jell-O in their strawberry pie to help it. I mean, that's delicious.
It is. I think that Jell-O, for like when you use just the powder, even like with pudding and stuff, you can really do a lot with putting in Jell-O to thick, because it will thicken things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my friend Terry Herman, when she makes one of the best strawberry pies you'll ever eat in your life, which, by the way, you missed it this year because you didn't bring me a strawberry pie, Terry, so you're in trouble. And she's my friend. She lives over in the Noble Onley area, and she makes them. And I think she puts like and it not only tastes fantastic, it's beautiful. It's almost like she perfectly cuts the strawberries.
Oh.
Yeah, and her little pie crust. Her little pie crust is just perfectly.
Oh.
Yeah, I made a cobbler one time, and it literally looked like I was, Leatherface off Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm like, smash, smash, smash.
But it probably tasted fine.
Well, it was blackberry cobbler, and it did taste pretty good because I was one of those. But it was like soup. It made a great ice cream topper.
You gotta thicken it up a little.
Because somebody said, nobody told me that if you add more sugar, you need to add just as much flour so it will stay thick. I'm like, ooh, I want this baby sweet. Oh. So I added more sugar, so it never did. But it tasted great.
Yeah.
Sweet as pie.
Yeah.
I did it once.
Well, good for you. I didn't know that you did that.
I did that one time.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're going to, now that we've done, oh my gosh, I just can't believe how we can just take a.
I know. But speaking of pies, I did happen to win a ribbon last summer for my pie baking skills.
You did, or your mom?
I did.
No.
I got second place.
Mm-hmm. Where?
At downtown at Library Park at the 4th of July pie auction and pie baking contest.
Well, how did I not know about this? I would have entered.
Let's do it. Let's do it this summer. Me versus you.
Holy mother of pearl. Oh, my Lanta.
We'll both enter a pie. Let's see if we win.
Are they going to do that this year?
I don't know. They probably are. They always do it. It's a fundraiser for the Janae Pollard mission trip.
I definitely want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that. I want to put, because I made a cheesecake once too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jim was literally going to throw away my cheesecake pan. I'm like, don't. No, I need my springform pan. He's like, you've made one cheesecake in your entire life.
But don't throw the pan away. She has plans to do it again,
I have plans
Jim.
to do it again. So, yeah. And I guess the 4th of July celebration is going to be out at the park.
Oh, it's going to be at the park.
It's going to be at the park for the rides, but then the fireworks are still going to be down in the south end of town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they like them in the south end of town, but they're going to have everything else. Which, that one year we did it, I loved it downtown, but boy, it was a weird 4th of July, so it wasn't hot. Remember when they first brought it downtown because of COVID or something?
Yeah, I don't remember why that happened.
But it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but then last year it was hot out there, so I'm okay with it. I'm like, take it back there where it's sunny. I mean, where you got the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm going to have to check with the Chamber of Commerce to see what's going on. But we'll give you more news on that. 4th of July is a month away, but as fast as time's going.
Oh, I know. Poof, May.
What happened?
Might have been the fastest month in my life ever.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, it was like at the end of April, it was like prom, and then graduations. I had 2 kids graduating. I had a graduation party.
The depot show, the depot show.
Yeah, we were helping with the depot show, and we both were in it, and that took up a weekend, and then. Then we turned around and we left and we went on vacation. We went to Disney World for a week, and that went like in 5 seconds, it felt like that vacation was over.
Why do vacations go so fast?
I don't know.
It's not right.
I don't know.
Or have you ever noticed, like, when you're traveling to get where you're going, it takes all day to get there. But then coming home, it's like, oh man, we're back already. Why?
Yeah.
That's weird too. I guess you don't have anything to look forward to.
I don't know.
But we need, before we jump into General Parsons, we need to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with By the Way with Beth and Stacey.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Hello and welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we are talking about General Lewis Baldwin Parsons, a Civil War general, and we are going to blow your mind with how cool this guy was. And he lived right here in Flora in a great big old mansion that's not even there anymore because everybody tears all the old stuff down instead of fixing it up.
Because that just makes us so angry.
It does.
It makes us mad.
He had a big old mansion and he had a big old barn. It was like one of the biggest barns in the state, I think, at the time.
Well,
it's all gone.
Let's talk a little bit about let's talk about the beginning of General Parsons.
Okay.
Do you have that? I got a little bit.
I do.
We're just going to have to bounce off each other what we're going to talk about here today.
So his name was Lewis Parsons, and he chose to add the word Baldwin to his name as an adult.
Why?
I don't know why, but apparently Lewis Parsons sounded a bit boring, maybe, and he thought that Lewis Baldwin Parsons sounded like, or maybe it was his, I don't know.
Maybe it was his mother's maiden name.
Yeah, he chose to add it. But
maybe he was way ahead of his time in that and was.
Yeah. Hey, Ty, do we have a picture of General Parsons? We can throw up his picture here while I'm talking about him.
Look at him.
Yeah, this is who we're talking about now. He spent his early life in Homer, New York, and he graduated from Yale in 1840.
Well, he was
So
April
this guy
5th,
went-
1818 was when he was born in New York City.
Yeah. He taught for nearly 2 years in Noxubee County, Mississippi, after he graduated from Yale. He really liked the people and he liked the region, but he could not condone slavery.
So he was born in New York, went to Harvard Law.
No, went to Yale.
Oh, I'm sorry, Yale.
Wait, we haven't got to the Harvard part.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
getting
I'm
ready to
in
spring
Harvard.
that on.
I'm at Harvard.
He went to Yale in 1840. Okay, then he moved and he became a teacher in Mississippi, but then he decided to go back to school and earned a law degree from Harvard in 1844. So this man has graduated from both Harvard and Yale, and he's lived in Flora, and not very many people in Flora can say, I went to Harvard and Yale. I mean, this guy did it all, okay? This is his beginning.
Yeah.
So he practiced law after he graduated from Harvard in Alton and in St. Louis. Why he came here, I mean, Harvard is in Boston, so why he came from the east out west, I mean, it was just that time. Everybody was funneling west.
And it kind of seems like St. Louis was a hot spot.
Oh, St. Louis was a big hub right there on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So while there, he became affiliated with the Ohio and Mississippi Railroad that was being built. And in 1877, so about, what was that, close to 30 years later, he was elected president of that railroad, but in the following year, it passed into control of the Baltimore and Ohio, and then he retired from the railroad. Okay, so
I've got also in 1860, Lewis Baldwin Parsons resigned his official duties to the Ohio and Mississippi Railroad for relaxation and thoughts of traveling abroad. However, the United States was on the verge of the Civil War, and Parsons decided to stay home in the likelihood of a soon confrontation with the South.
Yes.
So
because he didn't like slavery.
He went to Mississippi.
He didn't like it down there. He liked it, but he didn't like the slavery part. So he knew from an early age which side of this he was going to be on.
Right.
So I don't know if I mentioned what year he was born. He was born in 1818, and then he died in 1907. But it was while traveling on horseback in 1854 over the proposed line of the Ohio and Mississippi through southern Illinois that he first saw the tract of land adjoining Flora's eastern city limit that he bought soon after, and on which he built his 3-story mansion in 1875. So he was working for the railroad out of St. Louis. They sent him out on horseback, go look and see where we're going to build this railroad. He's on horseback, comes through Flora. Flora, this is 1854, so this is the same
so we're in
year.
1854 right now.
Yes,
before the Civil War starts.
Before it starts, and this is when Flora starts, though. This is the year that Flora is becoming.
1854.
Samuel White is there, and he's founding Flora. And Parsons goes to the eastern side of Flora and sees this whole section of land, and he wants it, and he buys it. Okay? And he doesn't move there right away.
No.
But he buys the land. He waited, 20 years, and then he built a mansion there.
Yes.
In 1875.
So he did. Okay, so he bought the land, but he didn't build his home till after the Civil War in 1875.
Right.
Yeah, because from what I understand, he remained in 1875 in Florida till he passed away in 1907. Okay.
Yeah.
We know we're okay.
Okay.
This is interesting stuff.
Yeah. So a month after Fort Sumter was fired on.
Do we have a picture of the home?
We do. Let's
show the house.
Yeah, this is the house. This is the mansion, the 3-story mansion. And I love it. And I apologize. There's a little bit of a glare on it because this picture is framed at the Flora Depot. You can go to the depot and see all kinds of stuff on this guy. There's a whole section of the museum that is dedicated to him. But this was his home, and
it's huge.
It's huge. This picture doesn't really do it justice, but you can see why it was called the mansion, because not only is it big, but it's deep. Like now, it goes back a ways.
Now, Beth, is this picture in the actual museum?
Yes, this is hanging on the wall in the museum, and I could not take it off the wall to get a picture of it without the glare. So this is what I got.
Hard.
Yeah. So this has a little bit of a glare there in the middle. But
and let's explain where it was built.
So it was on the eastern side of Flora, and it was near our junior high. I believe the Etchisons have a home now that is almost on the exact spot that the mansion was, from what I've been told. It was that whole area just east of the Floyd Henson Junior High.
Literally across the road,
all of that whole section was Parsons land. And so there is a historical marker out there now about this. I did not get a picture of it.
Dr. Cycle, Mr. Stringer, Palaces.
All those
homes are literally on the Parsons land.
Yes. There's also a picture of his barn. Let's pull that up. This barn is a really big barn.
Well, it's it really
huge.
Is.
And I mean, you can just tell, like, see the wagon and there's a couple wagons there.
Look how little the horses are.
But look how little the horses are compared to the size of that barn.
What's the thing hanging down for the front of the barn? It looks like there's something hanging down there.
I don't know what that is. But this barn, someone told me, and I don't have this, I can't prove it as fact, but someone did say at one time this was the largest or one of the largest barns in the whole state of Illinois. And this was General Parsons' barn. And I think that you could fit about 50 of our regular sized barns inside of it. I mean, this was a massive barn and tall.
Yeah, it's a shame it's gone. You know, because those structures that they built back, even his home would have stood the test of time for years.
But if you want to take a closer look at this barn, it's also hanging on the wall in the museum at the Flora Depot.
Honestly, I think that people should. I mean, people go utilize our depot and go through there, and you can take a. You can take a look at. Oh, wait a minute! He just put up another picture.
Yeah, this is another picture here of the barn. This was taken in front of the barn. I don't believe that either of these men are Parsons, but they are two men that were working there, I think. And this is just kind of an example of the cattle in front of the barn. And you can't even. I mean, they're standing in front, but you can't even see the top of the barn. I mean, it just towered over.
That
everything.
Actually, I mean, that could possibly. I mean, because it looks like that could be because he had one son. He had two daughters and one son. I don't know.
It's possible.
It's possible. That would be super cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
But going back to the depot, thank you, Ty. Going back to the depot, there is so much information at our historic depot. Go in there.
Oh gosh,
and
people don't take advantage of that.
We do not take.
I mean, a lot of people think that the museum's only about railroad history. Wrong.
It's wrong.
It's all about Clay County history. It's
Honey, you go into the bathroom, the girls' bathroom, and there's history.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. No, it's not about all the rail. It's just not about the railroad.
I mean, yeah, there's a section about railroad history, but there's a ton more than that.
No, I suggest everybody go and check that out. Okay. So we looked at General Parsons' house.
Yes. So let's talk about him during the Civil War.
Let's do.
Okay. So a month after the firing on Fort Sumter, he was at the side of Colonel Frank Blair as a volunteer aide at the capture of Camp Jackson. He was trying to thwart the plans of Southern sympathizers to turn over Missouri to the Confederacy. He offered his services to his friend at the railroad, General George McClellan, and he got placed on McClellan's staff in Washington.
Yeah.
But he didn't really want to be there. He didn't want to be in an office.
No.
So he asked if he could resign in order to go back to the West and raise a regiment. He wanted to be on the field. He wanted to be recognized, and he didn't want to be in an office. But he had been recognized for his business ability, and that caused his retention in the quartermaster department and the head of the rail and water transportation in the St. Louis office of the Western area. So no, they said, actually, no, you're really good at your job. You're really good at this railroad stuff. You're really good at logistics.
Right, because
we need you in this office. So they didn't let him go to the field.
In 1860, he actually retired his duties from the Ohio-Mississippi Railroad. So and now this is all out. And you're like, no, you're not fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was in 60, but in 61,
is
then
when
they're
the
like,
war began.
Then they're like, actually, no, go back to St. Louis,
Yeah.
get into the railway office. That's where we need you, and you're going to be in charge of railroad logistics and transportation.
Transportation at that time was very important, and it was a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think that McClellan, who was the vice president of the Ohio Mississippi Railroad, was like, okay, wait a minute, this is. It's crazy. He offered him the position of captain under him.
Yeah, and he became very well known, even by foreign military experts, for his transportation, logistics, and movement and stuff. He became head of river shipping. He became head of all rail and water transportation for the Union Army.
Right.
So the head of all transportation for the Union Army. I mean, so this
it's big. Yeah.
This guy wasn't just kind of like down here. I mean, he was at the top. Okay, he was appointed brigadier. I don't even know if I say that right. General on 11 May 1865, and was breveted major general on his mustering out on. I'm going to talk about that. He went from brigadier general to major general, but there was a little bit of drama about that after being retained for nearly a year after the war to oversee some things. But this guy, so just think about the logistics of this in 1865. How am I? Because there's not like as like transportation today. There's not all these highways and byways and interstates, and there's just the railroad and the river.
You're literally using the Mississippi River.
Yeah,
and
he had to move, and he did this all perfectly, successfully. 20,000 men, over 800 animals, all of the artillery for the whole Union Army. They had to cover 1,400 miles in 11 days. In 1865, 1,400 miles in 11 days with 20,000 men, 800 animals, and all of this artillery. They went through ice. They went through fog. They went through snow. They went through storms. They went through some of the coldest weather on record. Still to this day, some of the coldest weather on record.
And not to mention fighting.
Fighting
a war.
All without accident or loss.
Yep.
There was no accidents and there was no losses other than one guy, and he jumped out of the moving train and killed himself. He died. That was the only loss, and it was a suicide. It was not at the fault of General Parsons.
Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with more General Parsons.
Okay, we'll be back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's the weekend, and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting, and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
And welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth.
I am Stacey. And we are talking about General Lewis Baldwin Parsons.
We are.
Civil War extraordinaire, railroad man all around.
Super logistics, smart guy. He can figure out anything. He's transporting all these men, all these animals, all their artillery through all kinds of horrible weather, freezing cold, and everything's just going smoothly.
And a war.
Yeah, like, it's fine. He's got it all under control. He was very intelligent. So,
where are we at now?
Yeah, so he was transporting all this stuff. He was a little frustrated, though, because he wanted to be in the field. He wanted to be, he kind of wanted everyone to know his name a little bit. I think he was working so hard, and he was like, these other generals are getting
all this recognition.
And they're out in the field, and no one even knows my name.
Well, and I'm going to have to agree with him at this point because in some of my notes, he was in charge of the rail and river transportation for the whole country.
Yeah.
Not just St. Louis, not just the entire United States of America, the whole country.
The whole country, the whole Union side of the country.
How did we not know this?
Yeah, and he wasn't from here. He was born in New York, but we're going to get to the Flora part. He lived here for a long time. He was very important in our community.
Craziness.
So, so during his time as a general, he would... Back then, the only communication was through letters.
Right.
So I have copies of all of these letters that he wrote to a friend of his that was a judge. And several of them are kind of funny. My dear judge, I am much disappointed in not seeing you here. Did you decide not to come? I fear so. Though anxious as I am to see you, I should be sorry to have you run any risk of leaving home. No effort has been made in my behalf. As from what you said in your last, I thought it would be the best way was to abide by your suggestions and felt confident you would be successful, or if not, that it was idle to expect anything. It is a mystery to me. The president said 18 months ago I ought to receive the promotion. Nearly a year ago, he twice said I was entitled to the next promotion in my department, provided Allen, Ingalls, and Rucker were confirmed, which they were a few days after. Still, he has made 5 promotions from my department, since that to the rank of brigadier general, and he has now made only 1 major general and 8 brigadier generals from the quartermaster department. So he's going on to say, I keep getting passed up for a promotion. The President of the United States has kept saying that I'm going to get a promotion, and it hasn't happened. And then he goes on to say, I'm about to retire.
And not to mention how highly educated he is.
And I wanted this promotion before I retired. That's why he's anxious. There's many letters to this judge on this behalf. And then...
who is the judge?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm assuming it's a Springfield judge, or is it?
Yeah.
Or did the different armories have? Did the Union have their own judges?
I don't know. I probably had that somewhere, but I don't have it in front of me. What judge it was. But then there are actual copies of letters at the Lincoln Museum, but the depot has a few of them. This is a bad printout copy from my own printer, but they're from President Lincoln to General Parsons. There are letters back and forth between the two, and they were friendly. Not every letter was about business. Some were just personal about and so it's very difficult for me to read President Lincoln's handwriting. This is not something when I signed up for this job, I thought I would be deciphering Abraham Lincoln's handwriting. That is exactly what I have been doing this week.
Yeah, and it's a little bit.
It's if he was alive today, he'd probably be a doctor.
I was going to say, I think
read
Lincoln
a word
would have
of
been
it.
a doctor.
And I can read cursive. Of course I can read cursive. I'm not like a Gen Z here. I'm a Gen X, but let's just, but I was able to decipher some of it.
If you can't, maybe the
words.
Baby boomer over here can.
You boomer.
You
All
boomer.
Right. So this is this letter from the Secretary of War, Honorable Secretary of War, and it's from Abraham Lincoln, though, but this is how he starts it. Dear Sir, I have long thought that Colonel Lewis B. Parsons of the quartermaster, I think it's colonel, but he was a general, but maybe he was a colonel before that, but it looks like he has COL, but maybe it's GNL.
I don't know my rankings. I don't know what's ahead of what.
Of the quartermaster department, something to be promoted, and this impression has been shown by his great success in the recent state of transporting troops from the north to the south. Is there any legal reason in the way? If not, let the promotion be made at once. Yours truly, A. Lincoln. So he finally wrote the letter. I mean, there are multiple letters. This is just the only one I chose to decipher, although I have another one here that is like way long, and I got halfway through it, and I'm like,
I can't even. Let me see one of those. I just want to just get a gander here.
But anyway, he gave him the promotion. Yay! Abraham Lincoln did. So gave him the promotion.
Has beautiful
now
handwriting.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's hard to read. And it's not a good copy to start with. The copy in the depot is a copy of a copy of a copy that is like dark. And so this is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Is this a PS?
Keeps getting darker.
A PS from Abraham Lincoln? It's like he signed it down here. It's like, well, how did he sign it? Yours truly, A. Lincoln. And then there's like something under there. I feel like it's a
PS. Here's
PS,
what I forgot to say.
I love you. How fun.
Yeah, but anyway, so he wanted the promotion to Major General, which he did get before he retired.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Well, see, and one of my things, it talks about like a collection of Civil War material, private letters belonging to Brevet Major General Lewis Baldwin Parsons. So what's brevet mean? Is that higher than?
I don't know.
Is your ranking high? Is it go from best to? I don't know.
I have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Okay, where are we at? Yeah, where are we? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know enough military stuff to make sense.
I don't know either.
I don't know either. I'm not a military family.
Ty's looking that up now.
I appreciate the military, but
I don't understand any of that.
I don't. I don't know that. So General Parsons was married 3 times.
Yep,
he sure was. The first 2. Let's see, Ninian. Oh, no, that was the uncle's name.
Let's see, he was the father of 3 children. Eldest daughter, Susan, from his marriage to Sarah G. Edwards.
Yeah, it was Edwards.
Who died in 1850.
Okay.
And then son, Charles, and daughter, Julia, from second marriage to Julia Edwards, who died in 1857.
Yeah, both of those first 2 wives were cousins to each other, or maybe even sisters. But it says they were nieces of Ninian Edwards, the governor of Illinois Territory. And later,
I believe they were sisters.
The second governor of the state. So,
and then his third wife, 1868, General Parsons, was married to Elizabeth
Dara,
who died in 1887. So he was a widower 3 times.
Yeah. So with the first wife, he had a son and a daughter, but they died young at 27 and 23.
Yeah.
And then with his second wife, Julia, he had a daughter named Julia, and
he had one child with his first wife.
No, he had a son and a daughter is what I have.
His eldest daughter was Susan from his first marriage, and then son and daughter from a Julia.
I think he had a son in that first marriage too. And he died he died at 27.
Yeah, I just have like Susan, Charles, and Julia.
Okay, maybe a mystery child. I'm not sure. So anyway, the daughter Julia that he had with his second wife Julia, everyone called her Miss Julia. She was his caretaker companion in the later years. She lived in the mansion with him, and she was well known in Flora. So she lived with her dad. Her mom was gone. Her brother was gone. It was just her and her dad all through the years in Flora. Yeah. And everyone in town called her Miss Julia. Miss Julia. She was very well respected. And so this mansion, did you know the name of the mansion?
I was just getting ready to tell you. I think it's, I know, I don't, yeah.
Tell it.
Elmwood Farm.
Yeah, Elmwood. Or just Elmwood. They called it Elmwood.
Yeah. Why?
So apparently there was a lot of elm trees. They did. I mean,
so it has nothing to do with Elmwood Cemetery.
I don't think it has a thing to do with the cemetery. But I don't know. There is maybe a connection there. Let me find this one. Okay.
There's got to be something.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I thought this was a connection, but no. So General Parsons loved farming. He loved stockmen, cattle, and he was a horticulturist, so he loved to grow things. He donated 5,000 shade trees to Flora and grew many more shade and fruit trees at Elmwood. He was all about the trees. 5,000 trees in Flora. Probably all of the trees that we see now that are all like 100 or 150, all those big trees.
Yeah.
That people need to start. That's another tangent I could get off on. Like, why at Charlie Brown Park are we not planting more trees?
I don't know.
Because those that we have great trees, but they're all going to die, and then there's not going to be any.
I agree. We need to plant more trees, and we need to quit cutting all of our tree lines down. Just saying. Yeah. Just a little tidbit from. For me, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, quit cutting the trees down.
That's why it was so windy this spring. Quit cutting my trees down. Yeah. Anyway, because you're probably cutting down General Parsons' trees.
You probably are. Poor guy.
But yeah, so his children. So, Julia, we'll probably have to do a little bit more. She sounds like she could be quite interesting.
Yes. So another thing about General Parsons is he traveled a lot. He traveled in Europe and Russia. He spent many of his winters in Florida. He was active in banking and in military and political organizations.
Yes.
He teamed up with Lyman Trumbull as the Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor under Trumbull's candidacy for governor, but they lost. So
How did he lose?
I don't know.
Yeah, he should have been the governor.
Yes, he should have. Oh, the lieutenant governor.
He should have been
for that.
Well, he should have been. Yeah, I see lieutenant governor, but he should have just been the governor.
He was active in the Presbyterian Church in Flora, and he often conducted the service in the absence of the regular pastor. His name and permanent rank are inscribed in the cornerstone of the church. Now, that church, the Presbyterian Church, let's talk about that for a
Where's
minute.
the Presbyterian Church at? I'm losing it.
Is it the building that is on South Main right after you cross the tracks that was a video store for a little bit? Is that the Presbyterian Church?
I don't know. I don't think it is, but we'll figure that out.
What church was that?
I'm thinking because it hasn't been a church for all time.
Or was the Presbyterian Church where the senior citizens building is?
Yeah, because it started out as because it was a church. It was actually one of the apple orchard where they made the orchards and stuff. It started out as that building. What we call that? What was that building called? Where they made the applesauce and the apple cider vinegar? Do you remember what those were? There were like 5.
The drying facilities.
Yeah, that was there first, and then it was a church. I don't know. We're gonna have to hunt that down because I'll be going that way. So where did you say that there's something written in the church or on the outside?
It's on
of
the
church?
cornerstone of the church, so that would be at the corner of the building. His name and permanent rank, and not only his, but another general was also on there. Let me see if I see that.
I don't know, but
I don't know which page I had
you
that.
You keep looking, and we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back, and we'll see what we can find out more, and we'll end up on General Parsons.
Okay.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Roll King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Roll King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
We're back.
Okay, welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I wasn't ready. I was still trying to research this Parsons stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry about that. So
I love it.
We are talking about Parsons, and there was actually 2 generals that were listed on the cornerstone of that Presbyterian church, which is unheard of for one general to be listed, let alone 2 right here in Flora, and I didn't know anything about the other one. So Julia, the daughter, she was also a big traveler, and she went to China. She went out to Colorado. She went all over, but she ended up settling in Iowa near a college called Parsons College that the general and his two brothers founded. So apparently their father had left them some money.
Chances are that she didn't have to work.
Yeah, no.
I'm betting
I think they
Julia
had
didn't have
money.
to work. Yeah.
No, so General Parsons' father had left him some money and his brothers for the purpose of founding a college in Fairfield, Iowa.
Wow.
And they did that in 1875. And it flourished until a new administration's grandiose plans forced it into bankruptcy in 1975.
Really?
1973, sorry.
Really?
Yes.
Rude.
So, but following her father's death, Julia sent household and personal articles to the college where they ended up in a library up there. So a lot of his stuff is up there in the library, but also a lot of Parsons' things are in the Flora Depot Museum because the caretakers of the Parsons land was the Patton family. Okay, so they hired this manager for the land. His name was Tom Patton, and he was recruited out of Albion, Michigan to come manage this farm, and he did until the general's death. And there was a couple of sisters from Flora that worked there on the land too. One of them was Estella White, and that is who Tom Patton married. And the gentleman, there's a gentleman named Howard Lewis Patton who has donated so many of the things to the Depot Museum from General Parsons' land because his dad was the manager there, and he was actually born in the manager's home there. But anyway, so all of this stuff was donated from the Patton family, who had basically they were in charge of the estate. So, but Howard Patton. He remembers the general and Miss Julia, and he said that everyone that spoke about them was with the highest respect, that everyone loved them and everyone respected them.
Yeah.
So, do we have a picture of any of the things there in the depot that we haven't shown yet? I know there was a curling iron. Oh, yeah, this is the clock. This is the mantle clock that was General Parsons' clock that sat there right in the front of his home for years and years. So that's also at the depot. And then this one.
I love the curling iron.
The curling iron. It was electric. It had a cord, had wood handles, the Neptune Manufacturing Company.
Donated by Howard Lewis Patton.
Yeah. And this was, I think, Miss Julia's curling iron. But, man, doesn't that look like it would just tangle up your hair?
It looks like it'd do some damage.
It does look like it might
it's not exactly the ceramic tools we have now, is it?
No, it might fry your hair a little bit. But
well, I have here a little bit that on General Parsons died on March 16th, 1907 in Flora.
Okay.
Held the distinguished title that was bestowed him from President Lincoln as Brevet Major General Lewis Baldwin Parsons. General Parsons' funeral service began in Flora and concluded in St. Louis, Missouri. After having been escorted by train from Flora, Illinois, Lewis Baldwin Parsons is buried at Bellefontaine Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri. So he is buried in Missouri. We have a thing called the Parsons Paper, a collection of Civil War material and private letters belonging to Brevet Major General Lewis Baldwin Parsons, called the Parsons Papers, are owned by the Illinois State Historical Society Library in Springfield, Illinois. When these materials were acquired by the Society, they were received in 3 large military chests and did include Civil War material, some 5,000 letters, telegrams, and reports received, and a dozen copybooks of letters and telegrams dispatched.
Wow, he kept everything.
The Parsons Papers also contained digest of letters received and forwarded with copies of lists naming the cargoes carried for the government under contract by rail and ship. There included an extensive amount of material on the importance that the Illinois Central Railroad played in the Civil War. This treasury of historical information also contained extensive genealogical material on Lewis Baldwin Parsons, paternal and maternal roots.
Oh, wow.
Therein are about 100 letters written to General Parsons from his farm manager in Flora, Illinois, Mr. Patton. A historical marker honoring the life of Flora's distinguished citizen, Lewis Baldwin Parsons, was erected in 1986 at the northeast corner of the present site of Floyd Hansen Junior High School, intersection present U.S. Highway 63 and Stanford Road. The historical marker reads, Lewis Baldwin Parsons. Near this site was the home of Brevet Major General Lewis B. Parsons, who lived in Flora from 1875 until his death in 1907. Born in New York in 1818, Parsons graduated from Harvard Law School and began to practice in Alton, Illinois. In 1854, he moved to St. Louis, where he became president of the Ohio-Mississippi Railroad. During the first year of the Civil War, Parsons was commissioned captain of the volunteers of the Union Army. In 1861, he was given charge of river and rail transportation in the Department of Mississippi, and in 1864 was placed in charge of the river and rail transportation for the entire Union Army. And it was erected by the Clay County Civil War Round Table and the Illinois Historical Society of 1986.
Cool. Yeah, and you guys might have on Route 50 as you're driving through Flora seen a brown sign that said historical marker with an arrow pointing that direction. Stop and read it. That's about General Parsons. It's right there near the junior high.
You know, and
right
that's
off the
another
road.
thing, Beth, that I never really knew what existed until, like historical marker. Okay, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop
it's just
there.
a little signpost that tells you a little bit about General Parsons and yeah, really cool.
I mean, I don't know. I just find him fascinating. I find that daughter Julia fascinating too.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to do a little bit of research from
more on her
because a little bit. So, like the other boy, the other son and daughter, did they ever live in Flora, or was it just Julia?
I think only Julia. The son was older whenever the dad came back to Flora, I think, and then the son started a ranch in Colorado. He lived in Colorado and had his own ranch.
And what about the daughter Susan?
I think she passed away.
Okay.
She died at like age
Susan,
23.
Charles, and Julia.
And then there was, I think, another one. And he died too.
But he died, another son.
So the only two that lived to like later adulthood are the Susan and, Julia and Charles.
Yeah. But right now we only think Julia's the only one that lived in Flora.
Yes.
Oh, man.
She was I think a force to be reckoned with, but everybody loved her, and she was really active in the church and different things around town. So
it's so interesting. And like I said, I really wish that I think I'm going to make a ploy to the schools. I think that there needs to be a high school class that kids can take on local history.
Oh yeah, you know what it should be?
What?
It should just be a viewing of our show.
I think
there we go.
Right.
We're suddenly history teachers, aren't we?
Well, we are history teachers.
We are.
We're learning so much.
We are learning and we're teaching.
We are learning and teaching. And and he was just, he looked in that picture of General. He looked like a general. He looked like a soldier.
He did. Yeah.
They're highly intelligent.
Yes, very.
I wonder. He got his Harvard law degree. What degree did he get from Yale?
He was a teacher.
He was a teacher.
Yeah, he taught in Mississippi, but it would be so difficult today, but let alone in 1865 or whatever, to figure out how to transport 20,000 men, 8,000 animals, and all the artillery on a train and get everybody there safely through freezing cold temperature and snow and fog.
The only other person I know could do that is when God did it with Noah's Ark.
Yeah. I'm like, how did he do all that? But he made it look easy.
He made it look easy.
He's like, this train will hold this many people. This train will hold this many people. We're going to do this route, blah, blah, blah.
All in different...
And all with pen and paper. No computers, no cell phones, and nothing like that.
Yeah, as much as, I don't know. I just feel like things are easier when there wasn't technology.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I'm weird, but I don't like technology.
Yeah, I don't like most technology, but there's some technology like air conditioning that's ran by technology that
that's true.
I'm in love with that.
We love air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah, we love air conditioning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we head out, let's talk about a little bit of our rules to live by.
What do we got today?
Okay. If it doesn't concern you, don't mess with it.
Oh, that's good advice. You know what? I try every single day to teach that to my children, and they cannot grasp that.
If it doesn't concern you, don't mess with it.
They're all up in each other's business.
That kind of be like, remember the other one was like, we had one of the rules that was like, mind your own business.
Yeah. This one's pretty close to that.
I think that's kind of like what the busybodies.
Yeah, if it doesn't concern you, what?
If it doesn't concern you, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Because I think there are some people that just want to be in everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's just too tiring.
That's exhausting. Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. It's like whenever I put on productions or something, I am not a micromanager. I don't understand why anybody wants to be a micromanager.
Yeah.
Because it's too exhausting.
Yeah, it is.
You got your own work to do.
You can't manage
and even if it does
work.
concern me a little bit, that's why I put people in place who I
delegate,
trust.
Delegate.
That
people ask me, how do you get everything done that you're doing? I'm like, I delegate a lot of stuff. But
delegate, I'm not afraid to ask for help. I am not that person that's like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Now Jim is that person. I'll just do it. My mom was that type of person. I'll just do it. I'm like, heck no, if I can get help with something.
Yeah.
No, I want other people's opinions because I'm getting scatterbrained. I don't remember.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think it's because we're busy people. When you're busy people, it's just easier to be a little scatterbrained, I think.
Well, I think that scatterbrained people have more fun.
I think you're right.
Well, because whenever, and you and I are both like this, whenever we screw something up, I just start laughing. I got that Phyllis Diller cackle. Yeah, I just start laughing. I just make a joke about it.
At that point, what can you do but laugh about it?
What are you going to do? Yeah.
No point in crying.
I'd rather laugh than cry anytime.
Oh, me too.
But, Well, I think that's all we've got today on our show.
Okay. Well, I
do you
hope
want
you
to
guys
tell them
enjoyed
before
it.
we leave? Tell them where. I don't think we told them where they can find us.
Yeah. So we're on Facebook. By the way, with Beth and Stacey. You can watch us on YouTube. Again, by the way, with Beth and Stacey is our channel name. We're also on channel 100 on Wabash Television daily at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, and. Did I say Facebook? We're on Facebook.
You said Facebook.
But then Gmail, if you want to email us, by the way, with Beth and Stacey at gmail.com.
And we need to throw our producer back here, Ty.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he's just Googling
Ty
stuff.
Landreth.
Ty Landreth.
We couldn't do it without him back there. He's helping us.
Yeah, Beth don't have to poke buttons or nothing.
Yeah.
We just sit here and look good and have fun.
I know. Yeah, he's our
go-to man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we hope you have a glorious day, and God bless you, and have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.